Excuse me. They typically wouldn't have them carry the entire cross. It was usually just a crossbeam, and they would tie it to them, and then they would have to walk it out. Now, it's still pretty heavy, and after you endure the scourging, now you've got to carry this thing. So you carry that out to the place of execution, and when you get there, that's when they nail you to it and lift you up and put you on the stake or the post or the part that's fixed into the ground. So, did Jesus die on there? Well, the Romans were good at several things, and one of them was execute people. They had squadrons. You'd have a centurion and 4 Roman guards, and that was their task, was to make sure that you died. And they were pretty good at it. Dr. Andrew Corbett says that the penalty for a Roman guard or centurion failing out their duty was for themselves to be executed. So it's a serious business. It's either literally kill or be killed. Now, they weren't going to crucify a Roman citizen. They didn't do that. That was just way too much for the Romans to handle. They would find other ways to go about doing that. Now, we know that the guards, or at least the centurion, validated that Jesus was dead. I'm not going to read these passages. If you want to write them down, you can. Luke 19:33, the centurion said that he had died. In Mark 15:44 and 45, Joseph of Arimathea goes to Pilate. Pilate gets confirmation from the centurion that Christ is dead before he releases the body. So that's the Mark passage. And so the centurion validates that Jesus is dead. We also have Jesus' mother, right? All the Gospels say that she was present during the crucifixion, all 4 of the Gospels. So she was there, and so she witnessed the entire event. And so she would have at least been knowledgeable of the fact that her son had been killed and that he was dead when they took him off. We also have Joseph of Arimathea. Joseph would have known that Jesus was dead because he was the one who buried him. He went and collected Jesus' body from the guards and took it to the tomb and wrapped him up and put him in. Now, well, I'll get to the tomb later. In 1986 was I believe it was the Mayo Clinic did a study and put out a report to talk about what is involved when it comes to crucifixion, what really happens to the body, and how does a person die. Well, it's not the actual crucifixion itself. It's a asphyxiation brought on from the way the body hangs on the cross. So, are you guys familiar how this happens? Yeah. Everyone? Okay. I don't know how much detail you want me to go into. I mean, it's not pleasant, you know, and I don't know if anybody's squeamish. I don't want anyone to get sick. But so in 1986, the medical journal, they put out an article on this. It was called "On the Physical Death of Jesus Christ." And it was put out, and they reasoned that the death would have been through hypovolemic shock and exhaustion asphyxiation. So in other words, hypovolemic shock happens when you lose about 1/5 of your blood and your organs start to shut down. And exhaustive asphyxiation is just when essentially you're just too tired to keep pushing and dropping down to fight for air. And eventually you just suffocate. Now, what would happen typically in these crucifixions is they would either put some type of little ledge towards the bottom so the crucifixion victim could have his feet there and push up when he needed to get his breath. Or at times they would also nail the feet there. So for in Jesus' case, they nailed them. And this was the reason, well, part of the reason why the guards were ordered to go and break the legs of the victims that were hanging. The Jews requested it because it was getting ready to be Sabbath, and they couldn't have the dead bodies hanging on the crosses due to a command that they were following from Deuteronomy 21, verses 22 and 23. What does that say? Let's look at that real quick. Deuteronomy 21, verses 22 and 23. If anyone is found guilty of an offense deserving the death penalty and is executed, and you hang his body on a tree, you are not to leave his corpse on the tree overnight, but are to bury him that day. For anyone hung on a tree is under God's curse. You must not defile the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. So, not only is it the Sabbath, we're getting ready to be the Sabbath, but it would also be a defilation of the land if they were to leave the body hanging up there. And so they requested that the death be sped up. So the Roman guards went through and started breaking the legs. Because if you can't push yourself up, death would occur probably in a matter of minutes, maybe an hour tops. So it was fairly quick after that. When they got to Jesus, they obviously already saw that he was dead, and instead of breaking his leg, they speared him in the side. And John says that blood and water came home. And the article in the Journal of American Medical Association speculates that when the spear went in, it punctured both the pericardium, which surrounds the heart, and the heart itself. The pericardium would fill it with a clear fluid. So that would be the water and the blood that would come out. So Jesus would have been dead. So there's probably no question about that. So the answer to the question of did Jesus really die is yes. We have it verified through Centurion, his mom, if you ask her, Joseph of Arimathea, Pilate, because he got it from the Centurion. What am I missing? Modern medical science tells us that as well. So at least 5 different places can verify that Jesus actually died. So what about his followers? His followers believed that they saw him post-mortem, right? Well, is that true? Maybe it's a trick question. If